The unique party. In order to avoid its isolation, the Soviet system tried to create communist revolutions in the countries of its enemies. It set up the Comintern. The Communist International was totally controlled by the Soviets. It was an attempt to complete the abolition of the state. But in reality, it was something more subversive. Its target was to erase the notion of nation. At the beginning, it was a combination of approaches of Marxism and Leninism. Its idea was to contaminate the international bourgeoisie. For the Soviets, it was a way to create frictions inside the structure of their enemies. At the same time, it was an indirect protection of Russia itself. But it was a failure even in Germany. So the difference was, at that time, even more obvious. The Soviets wanted a dictatorship by one party and only one, and for that, the mass arrest and execution of dissidents started to be systematic. And of course, the state ownership should be unique. The control of everything wasn't a choice, but the state of art of the application of barbarity. In this point of view, everything was done for only one party and nothing more. The idea of the unique party, two steps. One outside and one inside. Outside, they don't want to be isolated. So they create, in few countries, communist revolutions. So it was a way to show that this is not just a Russian affair. It's an international affair. So they create the Communist International. But in fact, it was controlled by the Soviets. So the idea was how to remove states and create only Soviets. And they did it at the end of the process with 15 Soviets, okay? But for the others, it was a problem. They use the Marxism and the Leninism, but only at the theoretical level, and at the end, they use also Stalinism, which was, in fact, for them, more efficient. Already with Leninism, and you know, with the new economic politics, they had problem to apply in the reality the communism. So they changed their mind about that. They said that it was temporary, but it was done even after the death of Lenin. So there was also the failure in Germany because normally it was the source. At the end, because they were not so sure about the result, they said it's better to have only one party inside. So this is the second point. So I don't want to be isolated by the others, but inside I want to be alone, unique. So you're isolated, by the way. But the idea was not to be isolated, but to be unique. And for that, they need to kill every opposition. So we have something which was at the beginning an attempt to go further, but at the end with some failures, and in fact the lack of efficiency of the Comintern, they said, okay, we are going to do this alone with one party inside Russia, but not Russia. We are going to create Soviets by the way, it's like satellite states. So for us now, it's more like Muppet governments. So they do this. They are at the core of the system, like a spider. Okay, they control everything. And there is no place for opposition. So, in fact, it's not unique, it's without opposition.